everyone. So we are in the middle of the week, so just one day to go for the World Cup to start. So England New Zealand first match, exciting times, and so we thought we have a few venues left from our venue talk series. So like today we are gonna just talk about catch up on see Ahmedabad, Delhi, and another stadiums. I forgot we have it open. So anyway, so let's basically begin. So we know that Ahmedabad is hosting a lot of important matches, be it India, Pakistan, Australia, England. So like that's the main place to be. So I think Pranav is going there for India, Pakistan, and Australia, England, right? So that's a great thing. So let's so I will share my screen. So let's see what the ground has to offer. Yep. So this is, I think, the Ahmedabad Stadium, right? Yeah. So we have
Yes.
basically, yeah. So we have basically see opened a stats page. So if we like look into this, so what do we see here? So we see that like batting first is kind of nice because 53%, I think it's like batting first is 53% win matches, which is a bit surprising to me because it's a very good batting pitch, I feel. So what's your take on it, Pranav, on this like Narendra Modi Stadium? It's pretty new.
I think it's of course new, and the thing that we saw in IPL and what Ravi Ashwin had put out, and I had also put out quoting his tweet, and that tweet went mad. Is basically you have a lot of movement through the evening in the stadium because it's near the Sabarmati River, and once the sun sets, the water level slightly rises up and you have more movement, and hence batting first actually is an advantage when you have score, say when you score around 300, 320, or maybe even lesser, say 300, 280, 300, and then you come out in the evening and try and chase. There's little more movement with the ball, and we saw that in the recent IPL where we had a lot more movement through the ball. Hardik Pandya and Mohammad Shami actually moved the ball both ways. So
Right.
what's interesting here is that as we go along, so if you see the average batting score is 242, which is sort of okay because it considers the decade-long data. But if you look at the last year and a half, the average first inning scores have gone up to 260, 270. There is not much ODI cricket that has happened, but if you take a look at what the test matches have produced or what the T20Is have produced, if you apply yourself, it's a good pitch to bat on. So you negotiate the moving ball, and the stats also say here that batting first you have more advantage under the baking sun, so that the water levels remain low, and of course during winters it again rises up. So probably that sort of advantage you have when you're playing in Ahmedabad, and Shubman Gill owns this
Right.
ground. So probably that's not the other factor that we need to keep in mind. And tomorrow's game will probably give us an idea that what sort of wicket will that be, especially with New Zealand. You have Trent Bolt and other bowlers who can move the ball both the ways. So if New Zealand bats first and they try and get the ball moving both ways tomorrow, it'll be interesting because I don't see the pitch changing drastically because ICC is setting it. Of course, it could have one or two minor altercations, like it lets it spin a bit more during the day. You have a little bit of dew and stuff like that, but this is a out and out good batting surface, and then you try and defend the total whatever you make. Uh, Gujarat could not defend it because of rain that happened through that, the actual day, and the game went on to the reserve day. That's why it was easier batting. If I know someone would come and tell me that in the comments that, bro, look, Gujarat could not defend total. It's because of the rain that happened,
Right.
and you have moisture seeping in and into the surface, and the ball comes on a little more easier because of the type of wicket that's there in Ahmedabad. So the typical standard of wicket with the heat falling down in October, you expect it to be good for batting, and then you can defend the total. Perhaps if there's no dew, tomorrow's game will give us a more clearer idea.
Yeah, and what I feel is also like the ground is a bit larger than like most other stadiums. So I think you're gonna like the square is kind of big, so you're gonna expect more running, I guess. So that's gonna be a key factor as well. So I think 260, 270, 280, I think that's gonna be the range here. So looking at, I don't think it's gonna be as flat as people think it to be. Like just hit through the line kind of pitches. I don't think it's a Bangalore kind of a service. But definitely, like you, like I think players like Virat Kohli kind of players like is gonna enjoy, like Shubman Gill, they are gonna enjoy like playing here the classical battles. So anyway, so let's move on to the next one. So here we have the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. So I think this is like I think what I see from this average score is that it's a bit of a like a tricky place to bat on. Like I think sometimes it's a rank turner as well, so it's a bit hard to predict. So overall,
Yeah.
so what's your take on this? So I think I see batting first is 50%, not much to read about there. So what's your like thoughts on this Delhi?
Uh, Delhi has been generally a balanced wicket. I mean, you can't predict out that winning the toss and doing this would be an advantage because uh, the to- of course, owing to the World Cup, a lot of things have been changed in a lot of the stadiums. The grass has been relayed as per the gold standards, is what I've heard. So when we are talking about these stadiums, we are purely talking with respect to the pitch and the data that we have. So what we see here is that probably it's better, you know, general tendency is when you don't know how the pitch will behave, it's better to actually bat first and put runs on the board and try and defend. It's it's because a lot of people would tell me you bowl if your bowling strength is too good, you bowl first, knock the opposition out, and then try and chase the target. Fair enough, but Delhi will also be hosting a few day games.
Right.
So 10:30 to like say 7:30 or 8, you have very less chances of dew. So probably that's the best time when you can bat and pile up on runs, and then attack the tired fielders who come out as batters in the
Fair
second
enough.
innings. So
Yeah.
this could be a cliche line that Sunil Gavaskar uses, but it's true, right? Because yep, Delhi is actually heating up towards the winter. So you will have those temperature variations which will help the spin bowlers and the faster bowlers when the temperature cools down in the evening. So probably your first innings gets over by 2 o'clock, and then you have your next innings where the temperatures are a little bit down towards the evening because Delhi gets cooler as the night goes down. So you can have more movement, you can have a little bit more grip for the spin bowlers. So I don't expect an absolute flat track. On none of the stadiums it will be absolute flat tracks, except when teams like England and Australia are playing. You could expect 400 totals because they are capable of defending and chasing that. Apart from that, in Firozshah Kodla, especially when the India-Afghanistan game happens, it won't be a rank turner because Afghanistan spinners, right? They have Rashid, they have Nabi, they have Noor Ahmed. So that's three spinners. I am not counting out on India's spinners because they have Ashwin, Kuldeep, and Jadeja. It could be a spin versus spin battle, which is not good for ODI. So probably it will be a balanced wicket. And of course, India is not playing any sort of day games. So, and their nemesis has been chasing versus the old ball because we saw that versus Bangladesh that on spinning wickets they'll struggle. So it's probably best to bat, put runs, say, because general tendency of Afghanistan's team here, especially on any sort of wicket, is if you're giving them a total to chase on a tricky wicket, they'll end up faltering 10,
True.
out of the 10 games, 7 games. Because we saw that against the series against the
Right.
Pakistan team in the Sri Lanka grounds. So they ended up faltering. So they had upper hand in the first innings, but they ended up faltering versus strong bowling sides. So you can attack them with fast bowling, and you pile up on runs so that your fast bowlers feel okay. Okay, I have runs. I can leak, uh, four boundaries and an over and pick up one wicket. I'll be happy with that. So probably that sort of strategy if you use in Delhi, you will be more in advantages because this sort of games where you can improve your net run rates and stuff like that, so that you don't end up suffering a lot when you go against teams like South Africa or England for that matter, or bigger teams. I'm not counting out on Afghanistan at all. It's not the case. I'm just saying that India might have slight edge over them in when they bat first.
True.
If they are chasing, then it might be true.
Yeah. Anyways, I feel that most teams will have an advantage batting first in this World Cup. Because
Exactly.
I think somehow like there was a phase in in the 2017, I don't know the exact time, where chasing was pretty easy. Like people used to chase for fun, like 350 scores. But I think recently we have seen a trend, not only in India, like overall, I think chasing has become a bit difficult. I don't know, I don't know the exact reason for that, but like looking at the numbers and whatever, I feel that that is a trend right now. So let's see, and especially in a World Cup kind of a situation, high pressure matches every game. I think batting first, putting 300 score is a good achievement, I feel. So anyway, so now
Yeah.
let's move on to say Hyderabad. So sadly, there are no India games here, but it's a pretty nice stadium actually. I think you are an SRH
Yeah.
fan, right? I was seeing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
probably what's Pakistan has a lot of games here,
right,
and yesterday they unfortunately lost out to Australia, and I did not understand that strategy where you had Shadab saying, "Okay, Baba won't come and bat," but he came out and scored a 90 of 59 balls. The point that here we are trying to make is that again the surfaces have been relayed. I mean the ground has been relayed, the outfield has been relayed, and pitch, it's a little bit on the slower side. I won't say it's too slow. It's a little bit on the slower side. And when you're batting first, again you have a lot of advantage because Australia showed that us yesterday. And with Haris Raw's pace and Shansha Afridi's pace, this is a sort of wicket where it sits up nicely. When I say sit up, it's probably like I can say I can call it as a Sydney ODI wicket because if you refer to Sydney ODI wicket, you hit the deck hard and it comes to the bat nicely where you have to adjust to your lens very quick. And the bowlers like Stark, Marsh, Green, Cummins, everybody did that yesterday really well. And you have to churn through the runs in the middle overs because it's a very large square ground. Not the long on long off boundaries are a little shorter than the square boundaries. So you hit it through the gaps. You'll have to be prepared to run threes instead of twos.
right,
So that sort of communication has to be between the batters. And there's not a lot of ODI data, but the average score here is 288.
right,
If you look at that, and the average runs per wicket is 36. So it's exactly what I'm trying to say. When you're batting first, the runs per boundary here is very less because through the middle overs, it's slowish bowlers come on.
right.
The ball doesn't come that well as the pacers. So if you look at pace versus spin average, it's spin lesser because of the number of wickets they pick. So it's probably due to that reason where you have to bat first and then score runs and then try and defend. I know I've been singing this song for the last 15 odd minutes, but it's because of World Cup I'd want somebody to bat. Of course, you lose a toss, you can't do anything.
Absolutely,
But to win toss, just bat first under the October heat, keep your bowlers fresh, and then use the upfront
absolutely,
movement that you get with the new Kookaburra ball for the 5 overs each. That's the first power play. You get 2 wickets, and then you're suddenly on top, and then you have your spinners do the job for you. That's the general tendency that I'm looking at, except on wickets like Lucknow, where you can straight away open with somebody like Ravichandran Ashwin against David Malla. Those are exceptional cases. But here, in general, you are a batting first side. You have been a batting first side. You want to try and chase a total, experiment out that in say Bangalore. You can obviously chase a total. In Mumbai, you can obviously chase a total. But places like Ahmedabad, Delhi, or you're playing even in Pune, uh, we have to cover Pune actually. So those sort of grounds, you have small grounds, you can take bigger risks and try and up the ante through the death overs, pace your innings and stuff like that. So this ground suits Pakistan only if they apply themselves well. That's the condition that it has.
yeah. Yeah, so like I agree with your point. So even I feel like regardless of the stats and everything, even the stats point that it's 57% bat first kind of a win ratio. So I think like regard in the World Cup, like seeing everything around the afternoon weather and everything, I feel it's always better to bat first because the dew like you can't really predict. Like that's a thing. And
I
also
think,
I don't feel this time of the year you get that much dew. I think that's mostly
yeah,
in the
exactly.
IPL season kind of time where you get so much
Even
of
in the
dew.
IPL, we saw very less dew. I mean, it's actually taken me by surprise that we saw very less dew on very limited grounds. Say for Hyderabad, you got a little bit of dew. For Kolkata also, you got a little bit of dew.
Mhm.
But apart from that, there were I expected a lot of dew in Chippewa, but it did not come at all. I mean,
Right.
so I don't know what sort of methodology they are using. They are using some anti-spray, anti-dew spray or stuff like that. But with some rains anticipated, dew is actually going to negate that factor, or dew actually won't come, is what I feel, because then only you'll have even games, and I'm expecting this to be a very close World Cup.
Yeah. So to basically like close it off, so what I like feel is this World Cup. So I think there is a lot of rain around. I can see for Kolkata, it's in like raining many days. Like it's hard to get a full match if you play right now. But like we have it in November, like late October, so that time it should be okay. So anyway, so I think it's kind of a wet season around in India. So like that like I think so the spin factor may get a bit nullified if in the early stages because of that maybe. So, and also I think that it's the start of the season, so the pitches will be fresh. So I think fast bowlers have a major role to play as well here, especially in the first half of the World Cup. So I think later maybe the spinners can come along and do their job. But like overall, so like it's exciting times ahead. So this was all for our venue talks. So like we mostly covered most of the venues. So like hope you all enjoyed this. Do provide us feedback on X or on the comments in YouTube. So and let us know your thoughts. Like which venue do you think will suit India the most, or like your favorite team the most, wherever you're watching from. You may be a Pakistani fan as well, so that doesn't matter. So which venue do you think suits your team? So anything. So like let us know. Like let's have fun. So hope you enjoyed this. Have a great time. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.